feel like I've done this before. Well, yep. What's up, everybody? I'm Seth Fowler, and today I'm reviewing the newest Skechers Yeezy. Actually, if I'm being fair, this shoe happened first and then the other one that I reviewed. But in some ways, this is even more of a knockoff. Like I said, something about this feels really, really familiar. The brand new Skechers Yeezy. Nah, not that, not that. Yep, there it is. That's what this looks like. It's gotten to a point now where I'm wondering if maybe Skechers came up with the designs first and then the other brand knocked them off, but who knows, you know? Why don't we take a look at what's going on with the shoe and you can decide for yourself. God, I'm doing this again. I'm actually doing this again. First off, before we get into the shoe, I just want to take a look at the box because I feel like the box provides some very important information as to the innovative technology that goes into the sneaker itself. Now I have to give Skechers credit because this may be the one part of the entire sneaker experience that they didn't knock off. And to be honest with you, they probably should have. According to Skechers graphic designers, it looks like the most important part of this sneaker based on the size of the text is the air-cooled memory foam. Now I think what they should have said is the fact that it looks like another very popular sneaker. It looks like they're so proud of this air-cooled memory foam that they actually said it again in the shoe. So every time you put your foot into the shoe, you were reminded that you were wearing an air-cooled memory foam Skecher. I don't really know how it's air-cooled. Maybe when you take your foot out of it, then it's, you know, getting some cooling from the air. But other than that, I think that's just a fat load of BS. Also, isn't memory foam like a trademarked name? Are they actually working with memory foam on this? Next up on the box, which basically looks like a giant ad for the shoe, which is funny because no sneaker store I've ever been to has had this box on display. It's usually in the back. There's a very presumptuous line of text that says provides pressure relief and instant comfort. And I think we should test that. Here's the sneaker. Here's my foot. Now there isn't really any pressure on my foot at the moment. However, I have had some aches and some pains, which hopefully this sneaker can solve for me. I'm gonna be honest, based on my concrete experience with the last sneaker, I don't have very high hopes, but why don't we see? Also, I think it's very important to take Skechers at their word here because they said instant comfort. So I'm really expecting to be instantly comforted, like pillows, feathers falling from the ceiling, just all sorts of good stuff. It's actually not bad. I shouldn't hate it on this shoe right away because it really does feel like they put a layer of memory foam over just a very hard surface. So I think what they mean by instant comfort is that for the first second that your foot hits the inside of the shoe, you're like, ah, memory foam, that's nice. And then when your foot starts to sink through the memory foam and you start to feel that oh so lovely concrete base of the shoe, that's where the comfort just stops. So hey, I can't fault them for that because it was certainly instant, but they never said anything about lasting comfort, so at least they didn't lie about that. There is some more BS text on this box, but I don't really want to waste your time with any more of that because really it just is completely meaningless and it's probably all total bullshit. So let's move on to the sneaker. Unlike the last Skechers Yeezy that I had reviewed, that had been done by Mark Nason, a good friend of ours and a friend of the show, this particular upper is not made up of sport knit, it's actually made up of just 100% knit. It's a little ambiguous, but you know what? At least it doesn't look like another sneaker. Or does it? I'm really a fan of this salt and pepper sort of camo pattern going on top of the sneaker, which like I said before, is fresh and new and never been done before. Moving back on the lateral side of the sneaker, we find this piece of black or dark gray fuse overlay, which also happens to be on the medial side of the shoe. Now I've reviewed a lot of sneakers and usually when a brand uses fuse overlay, they use it on the toe of the shoe or in high wear areas of the sneaker. However, it's not very often that I find myself really needing some extra durability in the midfoot of the shoe, walking or otherwise. And I also think it's very interesting that the color blocking and the placement very closely resembles another sneaker that's also on the market. Now obviously this shoe can't be confused with that shoe or even compared to that shoe because this material is different. So I'll just keep the name of that shoe to myself and you guys can figure it out on your own. Moving up the shoe, we find these white laces that aren't really so much laces as they are bungee cords. And not only are they just bungee cords, they don't really seem to have an end that you can actually pull to tighten. They just kind of seem like an infinite loop. Now you might be saying to yourself, why does a one-piece booty construction sneaker need laces? Well, if you look at other sneakers that are just a one-piece upper that don't have a tongue, a lot of them do have laces so that if you need to tighten the shoe, you can, and although there is some bunching around the tongue, you do get a slightly better fit. However, these laces do shit. And I mean that. These laces do literally nothing. Well, unless you consider looking like another popular sneaker something. I think you know what I'm getting at. Moving back on the sneaker, we find this very well camouflaged Skechers S logo. And that's there just to remind you that you're wearing trash. Another interesting feature I found on the shoe is the stitching along the heel and midfoot of the shoe. Now I've got to give props to Skechers on this one because they were being a little bit sneaky. They knew the people who are trying to buy Yeezys or the other shoe that kind of looks like this shoe, they know that there's some exposed stitching in this sort of color scheme on the sneaker somewhere. Now some of them might forget where that is. And for those people, Skechers has got you covered. They got around that pesky little patent by just moving the stitching from the middle of the shoe just to the side of the shoe. Now you might be saying, oh no, actually a lot of sneakers have stitching there. And you're right. But not all sneakers have stitching that looks like the inside of a sweatpant. As for fit, it looks like Skechers again copied Adidas by saying this shoe fits true to size when, let's be honest, it doesn't. Moving down the shoe, we find the most original and innovative part of the sneaker, this ridged midsole. Are they serious? Is this for real? Now, other than the pure aesthetic innovation of these ridges, there are other purposes that they serve. For example, they sound nice, and you can probably grate cheese or something with them, I don't know. And finally, moving to the bottom of the sneaker, these ridges continue around to the outsole of the shoe, very similarly to another sneaker that we won't talk about. Overall, guys, the newest Skechers Yeezy, actually, what are these even called? The Elite Flex Muzzin. They've got pros working in their naming department too, don't they? So as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this sneaker came out before the last sneaker that I reviewed. And somehow the sneaker that I reviewed before was less of a ripoff than this particular one. So maybe they're learning. I don't know. Or maybe they got sued. Another thing that amazes me about this shoe is that it's actually sold out in a couple sizes. I actually had to go a size up, and I wish I'd never clicked the buy button. I know I did a rant before about not supporting brands that rip off other brands, and I still believe that, and I still think you should go back and watch that video if you haven't yet. A little bit of shameless self-promotion there. The link will be at the top of the screen for that one. But I just want to say it again. I know Adidas is a really big corporation, and honestly, so is Skechers. They're just as big. And the fact that they've run out of ideas or just trying to ride the gravy train, it's just really disgusting. It's really not cool, and as a designer myself, I can't support something like this. I also made sure to wear a shirt that wasn't a parody because you guys lost your minds when I wore that sold out shirt. That was on purpose. That wasn't an absent-minded coincidence. I wore it because I thought it'd be kind of funny to wear a shirt that sort of is a knockoff while reviewing a shoe that is a knockoff. It's actually a really awesome shirt. It's done by a guy named Kick Posters. Ironically, I think the shirt is actually sold out, but he has some other cool stuff for sale, so I'll link his stuff in the description below. Now that we've got the review out of the way, let's throw these guys on feet, see how they look. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to me, Seth Fowler, if you want to see more content just like this. And follow me on all other forms of social media. The links will be in the description below.